My name is Paula Melvin, and I'm the awards manager with the Irish Fulbright Commission. Sarah West, the executive assistant with the Irish Fulbright Commission, is also with us, and the Commission's alumni to Queen's University, Roisin Hyde, is also with us. And I'm exceptionally delighted that our colleagues, Angelina from the UK Commission, can also join us, because obviously people from the North or Northern Ireland, if you're a British citizen, you can apply through the UK Commission, or if you're an Irish passport holder, you can apply through the Irish Fulbright Commission. So we'll kind of talk about the two different sides, and because obviously Fulbright is run in 180 countries around the world. So I'll be concentrating on the Irish Fulbright Commission for the start. So Fulbright was established in 1946 by Senator J. William Fulbright in the United States. In 1957, the Irish Commission joined the programme, and in 1991, we became an official commission. So who's Fulbright for? So Fulbright opportunities are for passionate and accomplished students, scholars, artists, teachers, professionals from all disciplines to research, study, teach, and lecture in the United States. So what do our awards provide? So a monetary grant, accident and emergency insurance, visa administration, so we organise your visa, not your host institution, cultural and professional programming, and ongoing support and links to global network of Fulbright alumni. So it is the experience of a lifetime, and just when your Fulbright ends doesn't mean that kind of your experience with Fulbright has to come to an end. There are the Irish Fulbright Alumni Association and the Ireland United States Alumni Association as well. There's that recognition of being a Fulbright, and you can be part of the Fulbright family, and you join global peers. One of my favorite parts of the job is when a bunch of Fulbrighters get together in orientation, and I think, oh, there's no connection between this person and this person's work, but actually there is, and there's a lot of collaborations. And then it's fantastic to see exchanges kind of setting up between Ireland and the United States after people's Fulbright Awards. So we have a campus ambassador in Queens, and that is Roisin Hyde, who went on her Fulbright, who'll be talking about her experience later on. So we try to have a campus ambassador on all the campuses on the island of Ireland to help people, because obviously you can touch base with myself or any of us in the Irish Fulbright Commission, or indeed the UK Fulbright Commission. However, none of us from the Irish Commission anyway have undertaken a Fulbright ourselves. So it's great that you can touch base with Roisin and other Fulbright alum who can also kind of offer some advice. So who is eligible? Now for the Irish Fulbright Awards, if you have an Irish passport, you can apply through the Irish Commission. So if you're an Irish passport holder, it doesn't matter if you live in the 6 counties or Northern Ireland or in the Republic or in France or Germany or Australia, you're eligible to apply through the Irish Fulbright Commission. You're not allowed to apply, however, if you're in the States at the time of application. EU citizens who are resident in the Republic of Ireland for 3+ years are eligible to apply also through the Irish Commission. You must demonstrate a strong rationale for why you're going to the United States. So a great rationale would be something like, I want to do this master's and it's unavailable where in Queens, it's unavailable in the UK or in Ireland, so that's the reason I want to go to the United States. You must comply with a 2-year home rule visa requirement. So it doesn't matter if you go to the States, fall in love, marry an American, have children in America, you still need to come home for that 2-year home rule visa requirement. So that means that you must come home for 2 years. You can still get an ESTA and go to the States and do a lecture or go on holidays, but you cannot go to the States and get a visa to work and live in the States until you've completed this 2-year home rule. Traditionally, anywhere in the EU used to be able to complete your 2-year home rule, but with Brexit and things are becoming stricter. So you would be expected to complete that 2-year home rule now on the island of Ireland. You cannot be a dual US Irish citizen. You can be a dual citizen as in France and Ireland or the UK and Ireland, but you cannot have a US passport holder. You cannot be in the US at the time of application, and you cannot have recent extensive experience of studying or living in the United States. So we'd expect that to mean, say, that you cannot have been living in the United States for 4 out of the past 5 years, say. And if 2 candidates kind of score similarly in interview, preference will be given to the candidate who does not have the extensive experience of living and working in the US. And I think my internet might be going a tiny bit slow, so I might ask Sarah to step in and to share my slides. This happens quite frequently. No, it's fantastic, obviously, that we can all be here virtually, and it's so much easier for the UK Commission to join us. Thanks a million, Sarah. So that's the eligibility requirements complete. And then the application process. So according to academics that I've spoken to, yes, it is kind of a thorough application process, but it's actually less than some other kind of experiences they've been through. Next slide, please. So the application process is quite similar every year, as in with the Irish Commission, the award competition opens towards the end of August each year. Then around Halloween time, the applications close. So you have between August and the end of October to complete your applications. Then between November and December, my colleague Sonia and I, who's the other awards manager, we find 3 expert reviewers to review your application. So we're going to find people who are experts in your field to review your application. We get a gender balance, and we try to get some international people to review your application as well. And if you're from Queens, we'll try not get people from Queens to review your application. And then in January and February, the interviews are conducted in our offices in Dublin. Hopefully, COVID will have abated by then, and people will be able to come to our offices again to do the interviews in real life. And then March is kind of a bittersweet month for us, because we're able to congratulate the people who've been successful, and also, unfortunately, to let people who were unsuccessful also know. So get planning your application now. Review the information on our website, Fulbright.ie, or on the British Commission's website. Choose an award, so student, scholar, and I'll be going through the different award categories in a few moments. Plan a course or plan a research proposal, and research what it means to be a Fulbrighter. Now, Fulbrighter is kind of about the greater good. It's not just about you. So it's about, say, I'm going to go and do a master's in maths, or I'm going to go and lecture history in the United States. But what are you going to do outside the lab or outside the classroom? What are you going to take from Ireland or from Northern Ireland or the UK and bring it with you to the United States? And what are you going to take back from the United States to when you return to Queens? It really is about the greater good, and Fulbright really is about people. So it's not just, like I said, what you're going to do in the lab or in the classroom. And register your interest on Fulbright.ie. Next slide, please. So the different award categories. You have your Irish Student Awards. So I manage the Irish Student Awards. These are for postgraduate research. Fulbright is postgraduate. And for do master's, a PhD, or part of your PhD. The majority of my Irish students going to the United States generally are doing part of their PhD over there. The Irish Scholar Awards are for academic or professional research or to lecture. And the Tech Impact Awards, I believe, are unique to the Irish Commission. They're academic or research, professional research with a focus on ICT. And then the FLTA Awards, the Foreign Language Teaching Assistants, to go and teach the Irish language in the United States. I frequently get asked, can people from the 6 counties or Northern Ireland apply to be an FLTA to teach Irish in the United States? Yes, most definitely can. And we've sent numerous people from the North teaching Irish in the United States on the FLTA award previously. Then the Fulbright Schumann Awards, these were academic or professionals to study, research, or lecture in the United States. Next slide, please. And we have the chat function as well. So if anyone wants to ask them questions, pop your questions in the chat, please. So the Irish Fulbright Student Awards that I manage, like I said, they're for postgraduate students in all disciplines. So it doesn't matter if you're doing physics or sports science or geography, you can apply for a student award. These are for visiting researchers or degree-seeking students. You must establish your own affiliation or apply for a degree course in a US institution. So talk to your lecturers, figure out in your field where in the States is great for your field. Just to establish affiliation, because you must pick that yourself, pick where you want to go. Unfortunately, we do not pay for your fees. So it'd be a great idea to kind of look for tuition waivers and to establish what university will give a tuition waiver for students, because the max award is €30,000, which is tax-free. And the duration is between 4 and 12 months. So if you're going for 4 months, you're not going to get 30 grand. That's more so if people are going for 12 months. We also work out how much money you get based on where you're going in the United States. So if you're going somewhere where the cost of living is very high, like New York, you'll be given more than someone who is going to go to, say, North Dakota or South Dakota, or somewhere where the cost of living is less. So it's worked out of this monthly maintenance requirement. Next slide, please. And that's going to be about the Irish Scholar Awards. So these are for postdoc or professionals in all disciplines. You must possess a PhD or 5 years relevant professional experience to the research or the lecturing you want to do in America. On there to research or lecture in the United States. Again, you must establish your own affiliation with a US institution. Talk to your colleagues, maybe you have an idea already. Send an email, tell them that you want to apply for a Fulbright in that institution. There's for a slightly different duration between 3 and 12 months, and the max stipend is €35,000. Next slide, please. These are going to be the Tech Impact Awards. So these are for a very different amount of time. So for between 2 weeks and 3 months duration, the max award is €11,000. You must possess a PhD or 3 to 5 relevant professional experience. Preference is given to early career researchers, so people who have their PhD since 2019, and non-commercial research exploring transformative power of ICT. It's quite broad. You can do a Tech Impact Award in, say, Irish language or in agriculture. It is a very, very wide umbrella, like an all-discipline award. Next slide, please. And so then we have the FLTA Awards. So the difference, one of the main differences between the FLTA Award is that we actually place you in a host institute in the United States teaching the Irish language. Whereas with the students, scholars, and Tech Impact, you must find your own host. With the FLTA Awards, you apply to teach Irish in the United States, and American universities apply to host an FLTA. So we match you. Say if University of Notre Dame wants someone with a PhD, or if the University of Idaho wants someone who speaks Munster Irish or Ulster Irish or whatever, we try and take your preferences into consideration and match you with the best host for you. And these awards includes room, board, tuition fees, stipend, travel, and program in the United States. The max value of these awards are €24,000. You must have an undergraduate degree, teaching experience, agus gaeilge líofa, and they're for a 10 months duration. Next slide, please. So then we sponsored awards. I know the UK Commission has something similar. They've partnered awards. If you're thinking of applying, I'd strongly urge you to apply for a sponsored award if possible. Because if you can apply for a sponsored award, you're kind of increasing your chances because you're against a smaller pool of people. If you apply, say, for example, for the Teagasc Award and you're not successful, if there's someone else better fit for Teagasc or who scores higher than you, you'll then be considered for an all-discipline award. So it's definitely worth your while. So the sponsored awards can be in targeted areas like creativity, environment, cybersecurity, etc. And definitely check out the specific requirements on the flyers. And you must also fill out a sponsored award form in the Fulbright application. So be strategic. Definitely have a look at these sponsored awards on our website. Next slide, please. So some of the sponsored awards are for both students and scholar applicants, like for the Enterprise Ireland Award and the EPA in Climate Change, Water, Environment, or the GSI Award in Geoscience. Then there's some specific awards that are just for students only, like the Creative Ireland Museum Fellowships. We have 3 of those. LLM, I'm sure, I guess that the UK Commission gets loads of applicants from LLM students looking to a master's in law in the United States. What I said earlier really rings true for the law awards. It can be very expensive to do a master's in law in the United States. That's the reason we have 3 institutions that we've partnered with for sponsored awards. However, if there's another institution that you want to look into to apply to do a master's in law, see if they'll give a few out for a Fulbright student, because the cost of these scholarships is, the cost of undertaking an LLM is quite high. Then you have the Fulbright Teagasc Award in Agriculture, Forestry or Food. The Scholar-only awards are HRB Health Impact Award, the NUI Scholar Award, if you've done your degrees with NUI colleges. There's a Creative Ireland Scholar Fellowship and the Tech Impact Awards as well, and the Tech Impact Cybersecurity Award at Boston College. Next slide, please. So to go into more detail, the application requirements. So you need to write a CV, a personal statement or a Fulbright statement about why you should be picked. Basically, it should be about you. Your project statement, talking about your project. 3 recommenders, so make sure to pick people who will actually submit in time for you, because this recommenders deadline to submit for you is the same time that you have to submit, the same deadline. Students must submit transcripts, a copy of your passport, samples of work for artists, 3 hard copies, and a letter of affiliation for researchers and scholars. Now, there's thousands of institutes in the United States. All the deadlines don't add up nicely and neatly don't match up with the Irish Fulbright Commission. So if it's not possible for you to receive a letter of affiliation, like say for acceptance for an LLM, for example, that's fine. But if you can get a letter of affiliation, if you're a visiting researcher, that should be included in your application. Next slide, please. So then study your research objectives. Why is your research groundbreaking? Why is it new? What's your rationale for going to the USA? Can what you want to do in the States be done here in Northern Ireland or in the UK or in Ireland? Why do you need to go to the US? Identify the specific areas you want to concentrate on, explain the research questions with objectives, methodology, and expected results, and what impact will this have on your discipline, research, and career. Next slide, please. It'll also be fantastic if you want to come home and engage with the Irish Fulbright Alumni Association and whatnot. Then the personal statement about you personally. Tell us about yourself, your personal professional ambitions, motivations, and interests, what you hope to achieve in the US and upon your return, and what's the role and benefit of being a Fulbrighter. Please do not rehash your study objective essay or CV. And remember, this is an indication of your written communication skills. Next slide, please. And the application form is generic. So if you're applying to the British or the Irish Commission, it is the same application form. So then diversity and inclusion. We welcome candidates from underrepresented communities, areas of research, home organizations and higher institutes of education, geographical areas, ethnicities, and ability. So I think a lot of the time when people apply to the United States, think about kind of California, the two coasts basically is where people think of. In my 5 years at the commission, I don't recall having anyone going to North Dakota or South Dakota or Kansas. So I want to see more people going to those other places as well, because it's supposed to be a meaningful exchange between people of Ireland and people in the United States in our case. So we want to see people from different areas across the island of Ireland going to different areas across the United States. Next slide, please. Because of course, diversity means a lot of things. So finding a host, think about who you want to work with, research experts in your field. We welcome diversity wherever you want to go. Reach out to Irish Fulbright alumni and US alumni. That's a great tip actually to do that. Use existing Fulbright links and sponsors, ask your mentors and select a degree or choose your host institution. Next slide, please. It can be quite tiresome if everyone walks in and says, I want to go to MIT or University of California, Davis or Harvard, and everyone says the exact same thing. So think outside the box. Now, these sponsored awards, Fulbright Ireland Creative Museums Fellowships, they are for 3 fantastic museums in the United States. And I'm very, very, very jealous. I have been to the Exploratorium and Smithsonian. Actually, I don't think anyone who's ever been to DC can miss the Smithsonian. They're fantastic institutions in the States, and there's also the Harry Ransom Center. So these are research opportunities open to students category only. Each award has specific criteria, so see the flyers. For example, some of them let you have just a master's, be doing a master's, others you must be doing a PhD. So definitely have a look at these. Harry Ransom and Exploratorium are for 3 months and Smithsonian is for 6 months. You must seek a letter of support from the host and include it in your Fulbright application. So if you're interested in going to those 3 places to do some museum studies, have a look at their online catalogs, because they're quite diverse and extensive catalogs in which you can do a body of research. So definitely look into them if that's something that kind of would suit your research. Next slide, please. And then the law awards, so full and partial tuition waivers available at the Indiana School of Law, Notre Dame, and Penn. So the above LLM have guaranteed fee waivers. And like I said, you should definitely seek similar waivers if needed from other LLM schools before applying to Fulbright. Next slide, please. We in the Commission get fantastic applicants every year, and we love to fund more people than we do, but obviously our funding is limited. So that's the reason we're telling you to kind of seek preferably apply to institutions that will give you a fee waiver if possible. So they're associated awards: Florida Poly STEM Graduate Assistantship, Master's degree and graduate assistantship in STEM programs, include direct payment for services as teaching or researching assistant and tuition support, University of Southern California MSc or PhD programs, MSc in an engineering or computer science discipline, partial tuition waivers for MSc programs, engineering, computer science, PhD program in a broad range of disciplines, and full financial support. Next slide, please. So you can all, I see some of you are popping questions in the chat, and that's fantastic. So then just a little bit about the review and the interview process. So like I said, at the review stage, we'll get 3 experts to review your application who don't know you. So they'll be focusing on your academic record and personal statement. That's where the majority of the marks are going at the review stage. Less marks are going for the cultural engagement and the leadership at this stage. But then at the interview stage, it flips, because they will not necessarily be people who are experts in your field who'll be interviewing you. So you might be doing biology or something, and there might be historians and geographers and linguists on the interview panel. So they're going to read what the reviewers wrote about your academic record and project statement. And the majority of the marks then are going to be on focusing in the interview on the cultural engagement and leadership. Kind of give me an elevator pitch of what you want to do in the States if you were talking to an American. That's kind of focus of the interview then at that stage. So Fulbright is really about people and their engagement. Next slide, please. So then the Schumann Awards are open to Europeans. So they're the EU-US relations. They're co-funded by the European Union, based on relations policy or EU affairs. They're awards for postdoc research and lecturing or predoctoral research. International educators will be matched with US institutions. Innovation awards supporting research at the intersection of technology and policy, and they're open to all applicants from EU member states. And they're different in the sense that you do not apply through the Irish Commission, you apply through our colleague's office in the Commission in Belgium. So they have a totally different application deadline, and that's December 2021. You can either apply to the UK Commission, the Irish Commission, or the Belgian Commission in any 1 year. So you can only apply to one commission per year and one award per year. So you cannot apply, say, for an Irish FLTA award and a student award with the British Commission. You must only pick one award per year to apply to. And you can only do, say, one award. You can only apply through one award in a commission per year. So you can apply for one scholar award or one student award. You can't apply for more than one in any given year. But if you're applying to the Fulbright Schumann Award, please let us know in the Irish Commission that you're doing so if you're an Irish passport holder. Next slide, please. And thanks a million to Sarah for helping out with this, given these technical issues I was having with my internet. So then the US categories, on the flip side, with Americans coming to Ireland, there are the US Student Awards for Americans undertaking a master's or PhD in Ireland, US Scholar Awards, people with relevant professional experience or PhDs lecturing in Ireland, US Specialist Awards, Academic Professional Short-Term Awards, US Global Scholar Awards, and then the Schumann's on the other side to come and do EU studies in Ireland or in the EU. Next slide, please. We have some sponsored awards here for Americans to come to the Republic of Ireland. But say if Queens want to set up a sponsored award, they should do so with Angelina in the UK Commission. Next slide, please. So then, yeah, now's the time to kind of get preparing your yourself. Reach out to your recommenders, select a host or host institutes, plural, research the ethos of being a Fulbrighter, talk to Fulbrighters, follow us on social media. Queries can be sent to awards at Fulbright. That's Fulbright, Fulbright. There's not two L's, .ie, or our website, fulbright.ie. Angelina from the UK Commission is going to talk about their awards now, and I'm not sure if Sarah wants to share her slides or if Angelina is going to be doing it.
Thanks, Sarah. Happy to go ahead. Paula, thank you very much for such a fantastic presentation. As always, you made my job very easy, and I'm very grateful to you for that. I'm going to be very brief. So, hi everyone, my name is Angelina Vrisovic, and I'm a program manager at the US-UK Fulbright Commission based in London. And as I've said, I'm going to talk very briefly to you about the awards which we offer, as you may be interested in them as well. And first of all, I just want to talk about our eligibility criteria. So, the majority of our applicants and our awardees are UK citizens, and as a UK citizen, you can apply from anywhere in the world, so you don't have to be residing in the UK at the time of submitting your application. But as Paula has mentioned, you cannot be in the US and you cannot be a dual US citizen. We also accept applications from the applicants from Northern Ireland regarding of your citizenship status. So whether you are a national of either country or you hold dual nationality, you are eligible to apply for pretty much all our awards. We have also opened our grants to the citizens of other countries, whether EU or non-EU. Now, there are some requirements attached to this particular eligibility criteria. So if you are interested, do get in touch with us directly so that we can discuss your circumstances in more detail. The only exception is the British Friends of Harvard Business School Award, as this grant is available to UK citizens only. You can be a dual national, but you have to hold UK citizenship. Next slide, please. Thank you. So again, similarly to the Irish Commission, we offer quite a variety of awards. So the most competitive is the All Disciplines Postgraduate Award, because again, as Paula has mentioned, it can be taken up at any institution towards any program, any postgraduate program, or any sort of research placement in the US. We also offer a number of discipline-specific awards, such as an award in medical studies, an award in journalism. So again, these can be taken up at any university, but obviously your program has to be relevant to this particular academic discipline. And finally, we offer a number of partnerships with US universities, and these awards are university and discipline specific. So for instance, I think the Irish Commission also offers an award at Indiana, which is law specific, so we have that as well. We have 2 awards in public policy. This is a very popular academic area among our applicants, so if you are interested, you could apply. We have kind of a similar situation with our Scholar Awards, where we have the All Disciplines Awards, which are again the most competitive, and we have a selection of academic area specific awards. And again, I just want to reiterate what Paula has said. If you feel that you are eligible to apply for a partner award, we absolutely encourage you to do so, simply because you maximize your chances dramatically. We receive hundreds of applications for the All Disciplines Award, so the competition is extremely tough, and we do have to kind of turn away extremely talented people. With partner awards, it can be very different. So again, just to kind of confirm that, please, if you're interested in any of our partner awards, I would very strongly encourage you to investigate that option first. Next slide, please. Thank you. So different awards offer different financial packages. So all of our postgraduate university partner awards offer at least a full tuition fee waiver, and some of them also offer a stipend. The majority of our postgraduate awards offer a contribution towards your tuition fees and living expenses, and this contribution ranges from $45,000 to $60,000, and that depends on the award. And the All Disciplines Award offers up to $45,000. With the School Awards, it's slightly different. So you will be applying, or you will be getting a stipend, and that ranges between $3,000 and $5,000 per month. But if you apply for a partner award, you may be eligible for additional benefits such as accommodation. In terms of the kind of study or research you can do in the US on a Fulbright grant, so the majority of our applicants and our students go to the US to study on a degree program, whether a master's or a PhD. However, if, for instance, you're enrolled on a PhD in the UK, you can apply to go to the US on a research placement as part of your UK PhD. So that would be between 4 and 12 months. We also fund independent research placement, as long as you do that at like a specific US university. And also you can apply if you would like to do a postgraduate qualification, which is not a master's. For example, something similar to the postgraduate diploma or postgraduate certificate. So that is eligible as well. If you are interested in our Scholar Awards, you will be expected to go to the US to either do research or to lecture, and your placement will last between 3 and 12 months. Next slide, please. Thank you. Just a second. So if that sounds of interest to you, I would say the first thing to do for you is to explore our website. So the competition is currently closed. We are planning to reopen the competition in August 2021, and that will be for the academic year 22-23. However, we have kept all the information available online, so you can review our application instructions, which will be updated before we reopen the competition. But you can still get a very good understanding of the application process, of the selection process more generally, what we're looking for, and how to submit a competitive application. Again, it's also a very good time to start thinking about your host institution. Probably not all of you know that there are over 4,000 universities in the US, and again, I suspect that it applies both to both commissions, that explaining your university choices is a key element of your application. So you really have to have a very strong reason why you want to go to the particular institution you have chosen. So now is a good time to start thinking about it. Also, we are planning a new events program. So the awards team, who looks specifically after the Fulbright Awards, including myself. So we will be starting our first webinar at the end of May, and we will then run some sort of an event pretty much every single month. We have not advertised that on our website yet, but you are interested, please go and visit our events page on a regular basis. You will be able to sign up for our webinars when those become available. We also have the Education USA team who run events throughout the year, and the advice they provide is a bit, it's kind of broader in terms of they look more specifically at going to the US January. So things like how to submit a competitive application to a US institution, how to negotiate funding with your host institution, how to narrow down your choices. So these webinars are extremely, extremely helpful, even regardless of whether you're planning to apply for a Fulbright Award. If you are interested in US study in general, I would very strongly encourage you to attend their webinars because they provide a lot of very helpful information. So that's it for me, and I will be very happy to take your questions.
Thanks, Angelina. Brilliant. And now I'm going to pass it over to Roisin Hyde, who is our campus ambassador in Queen's University, Belfast, to tell us about her experience on her Fulbright Award. I think you're muted, Roisin, unfortunately.
Sorry, thanks, Paula. I just want to make sure you're seeing my slides okay? Yeah, okay. Sorry. Hang on a sec. I'm trying to maximize the slides here, but it's not allowing me to get to that part of the screen. Hang on.
All these technical difficulties, I'm saying. If anyone wants to take this opportunity to type a question for any of us in the chat, please go ahead.
Just in the top left. Yep. There you go.
Yeah, no, it's just the menu bar was covering my PowerPoint menu bar, but anyway, we're all good now. Okay, hi everyone. So my name is Roisin Hyde. I'm an architect, PhD researcher and Fulbright ambassador from Queen's. So just a bit about my background. I've been working with particularly low carbon geopolymer concretes and using lots of cool technology, laser scanning, 3D printing and material characterization. I'm an environmental protection EPA Fulbright alumni. And I visited the University of North Carolina in Charlotte. So basically the focus of my research was looking at low carbon alternative concrete materials, which essentially means replacing the cement and aggregate materials with byproduct and waste materials, which is kinder to our environment and also lower carbon. I'm using lots of technology like laser scanning and 3D printing to produce large format panels for cladding buildings. So in the United States, the first ever geopolymer concrete wall panels were produced by University of North Carolina for a competition called the Solar Decathlon, and it was the People's Choice Award winner. It was actually the students and staff that made the entire building. And I learned about this project through my research, and the professor, Professor Brett Tempest, was kind enough to act as my host for 6 months for me to travel to the States. So just as Paula was saying earlier, a lot of people tend to focus on the coasts, but there is this kind of tech triangle which exists down in North Carolina. So it's between the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and Durham. And this is kind of an area where a lot of, big companies like Google and a lot of big banking companies and research facilities are starting to locate. It's because basically the coasts have become so expensive, and they just don't have the space for kind of big research campuses. And I have to say it was a brilliant choice. I mean, it just happened that, Brett was there with the work that he'd done, but I'm so thrilled to have had the opportunity to go to the South. It was just wonderful, wonderful experience. And I would say definitely consider places other than the kind of, the conventional kind of New York, Boston, LA and San Francisco, because there's some wonderful universities in the States. So during my time there, I mean, as well as doing research in the university and getting to use all their incredible lab facilities, I would say that's one thing probably as an Irish or UK researcher. American universities have incredible lab facilities, just bigger and better. They put a huge amount of money into research there. So, you know, it's the opportunity to work with really state-of-the-art facilities. I also did a lot of travel. Pretty much, my son and I were just talking about it the other day. It was kind of the weekends where we got to stay home were the treat, because it was pretty much every weekend we were off to kind of, you know, Boston, New York, Quebec, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Palm Springs. We were all over. So before I went, I got in contact with a lot of kind of companies and researchers and, you know, people in my area, and I had trips planned, conferences, site visits. So it was all go. It's one of the things about Fulbright, it really opens doors for you. So any company that you're interested in their research, you know, get in touch in advance and say, I'm coming over, I'd love to see what you're doing. And you'll find, you know, that you'll be very, very welcome. They're always keen to find out what you're doing. And it just gives you that kind of leverage. It's often difficult to make contact with people, but Fulbright really gives you that opportunity to kind of reach out and expand your network. As well as all the wonderful kind of professional and academic opportunities, we had a lot of fun. We found a great bike exchange facility in our neighbourhood. So we were able to borrow bikes for the time that we were there and then give them back afterwards for someone else to use. I did some outreach. I brought my son with me and he was in local elementary school. So I got involved and did some kind of workshops for the kids there in 3D printing. And laser scanning, and taught them how to use their mobile phones to kind of make 3D models. And then we printed out the school mascot, and we did little tiny versions and big versions. And then we did ideas about how they might like to use 3D printing technology. We did lots of fun travel as well as kind of my academic and professional trips. Went off to the Outer Banks kayaking for a weekend, went on the scariest roller coaster I've ever been in my life and survived. So it was wonderful. Lots of adventures. And then post Fulbright, I mean, it doesn't end when the actual kind of, you know, program ends. The alumni and the you know, are very active, all the former members. There tends to be probably 4 or 5 events at least a year that I would attend. I had the opportunity to do a TEDx Fulbright talk. A lot of the people that I met up with when I was over there in SpaceX and the Boring Company invited me back, and hopefully we'll be collaborating in future on research projects. Also, I got to do stand-up comedy on my research, which was exciting and terrifying. So, I mean, it's not, you know, Fulbright is not just for the period you're there. It's very much kind of a community that you become part of, and this kind of lifelong involvements. Just some tips on my own experience. Reach out to people like me and other alumni, maybe in your area of research, for advice and support. I would suggest contacting your referees as early as possible, because their part of the form is quite considerable. So you don't want to ask them at the last minute. And definitely a bottle of wine or a box of chocolates is in order, because they have quite a substantial amount to fill out. So just be appreciative of the fact that it's not just kind of 10 lines for them. It's kind of probably 3 or 4 hours work for them to kind of fill that out. So let them know in plenty of time. I would suggest identifying maybe 3 potential host institutions, just because the communication can be kind of tricky from, you know, the fact that you're here and you're trying to get in touch with, you know, people in different departments to negotiate the tuition waiver, you know, maybe access. You know, if you've got to do health and safety training before you go, you know, there could be kind of obstacles. So kind of have, you know, 3 quite different universities that you're aiming for, and then, you know, hopefully one of them will come through for the award. Make contact with them as early as possible. Again, that's quite tricky. I had good experience through LinkedIn and also the phone. I found emails were pretty much universally ignored. So either pick up the phone and just ask someone to stop by that person's office if you can't reach them, or LinkedIn, you know, again, is good. And consider, you know, I think as Paula was saying, it's much more than an academic program. So, you know, don't just be thinking about what you can get from it, think about what you can do for the host institution. So I did a lot of workshops with students in the university. You know, I kind of, as much as possible, involved my kind of discipline as across kind of 4 different faculties. So I worked with the computing department, architecture, environmental engineering and geology. And as much as possible, I kind of connected with master's students and other PhD research students to kind of show them what I was doing and kind of do site visits and kind of just give little talks, you know, about my work. And, you know, so be thinking about the fact that you're kind of an ambassador for your country and for your institution and for your area of research, and, you know, plan that in advance so you can get the most out of the experience. Yes, I would add, you know, just kind of in retrospect, there was a lot of health and safety training to do for my particular, you know, activities. So just consider that if you're planning kind of, you know, lab work, you know, add an extra month or 2 onto your program, because it's pretty comprehensive, you know, what's required in the States, probably higher levels of health and safety than we have in Europe. Consider, yeah, both the academic and cultural opportunities. Another thing we got to do, we got to represent Ireland in the St. Patrick's Day Parade, because I'd reached out to an Irish American organization in Charlotte before I came over. So, you know, I got to meet up with kind of other Fulbrighters, had lots of visitors because everybody was basically on the coast. So when they heard, just like we all met up before we went over, and then lots of people came down to visit, and then I went to visit them. And you know, so be thinking about kind of maximizing your time over there. And yeah, be strategic about what you want to get from the program. I was hoping to work with a couple of American companies. So before I went over, I contacted them. While I was there, I contacted them, and I've been in touch since. So, you know, kind of fit it into your kind of career goals, like how is this going to get you to the next level of where you want to be? And then I just put up some links as well, which I think Paula and Angelina already covered. So, but there's plenty there. I think I've made this available, some more information as well through the grad school. So they have a kind of PowerPoint I put together as well. There's lots of great forums about how to fill out the kind of the application form on Reddit and Grad Cafe. And, you know, so you'll find it's kind of a huge international community, and there's lots of support and advice out there. So just good luck and go for it. After a year of lockdown, I think this is just what, you know, the doctor ordered, an adventure in the States. So I can't recommend it highly enough. So, and anyone, any questions to just kind of reach out to me. Okay, thank you.
Thanks a million, Roisin, and thanks for the wonderful work you're doing in Queen's. That's fantastic. Roisin actually just reminded me of something I didn't say. Like Roisin said, she brought a dependent. She brought her son to the States. You can, of course, bring a dependent, and we'll kind of help you get a visa. But we in the Irish Commission anyway, unfortunately, we do not financially support dependents. So just let you know that. But it is wonderful when awardees can bring spouses and children. It really, that kind of contributes to that kind of cultural exchange between Ireland or the UK and the United States. There's just a question in the chat there. Can you do a master's here? So be that in the UK or in the Republic or wherever, and then go and do another master's in the States. We in the Irish Commission, that's fine. You can do even a PhD here and then go to a master's in the States if you so wish. So you can do a master's here or in the North, wherever, and then do one in the States. Angelina, would you in the British Commission accept that, someone doing a master's in Queen's and then doing another master's in the States?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. We actually have quite a few people this year who are sort of like in a similar position. We would expect some sort of an explanation, either at the application level, normally at the application level, why you need another master's, but very often that is just because you can't do what you want to do over here, and you need to go to the US in most cases.
Fantastic, thank you. And then there's another question. If you're applying to the Irish Commission, do referees also have to be Irish, or can they be UK or internationally based? They can be whoever you want them to be. So they can be 3 UK, 3 Irish, they can be a German, an Australian, and a Scottish, whatever you want, they can be, that's fine. I imagine that's the same with the British Commission, Angelina. Yeah. It doesn't matter. And actually, it's quite good if they're international anyway. And then I believe that there is a question for Roisin there. Roisin, did you stop? Sorry, I'm actually losing it now. Roisin, did you stop your contract at Queen's, then head out, then restart it when you came home? Really encouraging you traveled with your son, from Claire.
Yeah, no, and I can't emphasize as well, it was so great bringing my son. He always says that it was his Fulbright too, you know, because he got to have the whole cultural experience, and he was all the time promoting kind of Ireland and, bringing in books and fairy tales and poems to share with the kids in school. So, he took his role very seriously as well. So yeah, and I know lots of other people have brought family, so can't recommend that enough either. It's kind of definitely suitable for all members of the family. Yes, I think I still remained a student in Queen's during my time, just because I think I had a review, kind of an annual review coming up. So, but possibly, looking back on it, maybe I should have taken a break. But I think for the paperwork, it was only a 6-month program. So I just continued on, and it was kind of over the summer months primarily, January till June. So, I maintained my kind of full-time student in Queen's. So.
Great. And then there's a question, will this be recorded? Sarah's actually currently recording it, and I believe Rowan will send it back. Rowan, the communications officer with the Irish Commission, will send the recording of this out. And how many postgraduate applications typically apply to the Irish Commission every year? We're very shy about releasing exact figures. They're very skewed though, because for say a sponsored award, it might be a lot less than other awards. So my advice is really and truly, like Angelina was saying about that they're partnered awards in the UK. Definitely, if it's a sponsor award, apply for that, because you're increasing your odds. And I think we're nearly at the end. So if you have any questions, please pop them in now. Or if you have any for myself, Angelina, Roisin, or Sarah, we're all kind of here to help today. Don't think so. Sarah, thank you for all the tech support you provided all of us for recording it.
Thank you.
Angelina, it's an absolute pleasure to have you join us again from the UK Commission. I always learn something. It's always fantastic to hear about commissions are run in different places. And Roisin, thank you for being a fantastic Fulbrighter and making my life easier.
You're very welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay. Go on, Roisin.
Thank you.